Imagine this. You're walking outside, and suddenly a stray cat appears. Not alone, she's carrying a tiny kitten in her mouth, walking straight towards you. She gently places the kitten at your feet, looks up at you, and waits. No hissing, no panic, no running away, almost like she's saying, "Here, take care of my baby." Now here's the strange part. This isn't rare. People all over the world have reported mother cats moving their kittens into garages, dogs bringing puppies to their owners, wild birds leaving injured chicks near humans, even dolphins have been seen pushing newborn calves toward nearby boats. But why? Because if animals are supposed to fear humans, why would they trust us with the thing they value most? Their babies? Is it love, desperation, instinct? Or are we completely misunderstanding what's really happening? Because the truth is far stranger than most people realize. For almost every animal, nothing matters more than babies. A mother can lose food, lose territory, even lose a fight, but losing her offspring means losing her genes. Millions of years of evolution have programmed animals to guard their young at almost any cost. Think about a goose, normally harmless, but walk near her nest, and suddenly she's ready to fight someone 10 times her size. Or a bear, usually avoiding humans until her cubs are nearby. Then, she's one of the most dangerous animals on Earth. Parents don't take risks with babies, which makes one question even stranger. Why would any mother willingly bring them close to humans? It feels completely backwards unless the animal doesn't see the human as the biggest danger. Thousands of years ago, humans were terrifying. We hunted almost everything. Wolves, wild cattle, birds, deer, even giant mammals disappeared after humans arrived in many regions. Animals learned one simple rule: stay away, far away, but something changed, especially around cities. Today, the biggest threats often aren't humans. They're cars, dogs, foxes, coyotes, rats, cold weather, disease, or simply starvation. For many animals, living near people is actually safer than living far away. Cities have food, shelter, warm buildings, fewer large predators. Some scientists even call humans a protective umbrella. Without realizing it, we've created tiny ecosystems where certain animals survive better beside us than away from us. So maybe coming closer isn't strange anymore. Maybe it's survival. Have you ever noticed something odd? A neighborhood cat gives birth, not under a tree, not deep inside the bushes, but inside someone's garage, under a porch, or right beside a family's front door. Coincidence? Not really. Mother cats constantly evaluate whether a nest is safe. If she thinks another location offers better protection, she'll move every kitten one by one, sometimes carrying them across surprisingly long distances. But here's the interesting part. She doesn't choose randomly. Cats pay attention. They remember who feeds them, who scares them, who ignores them, and who has never hurt them. Researchers studying free-ranging cats have found that many learn individual human behavior surprisingly well. They know which people are predictable, which ones leave food, which homes stay quiet. So when kittens arrive, some mothers choose locations near humans they already recognize, not because humans are family, but because experience has taught them this place has been safe before. That's not blind trust. That's learned decision-making. Trust sounds like a very human word, but animals build something remarkably similar. Not through promises, through repetition. Imagine someone feeds you every day, never chases you, never hurts you, always acts the same. Eventually, your brain predicts their behavior. Animals do exactly this. Many species build what scientists call predictive models. Their brains constantly ask, what usually happens next? If every encounter with one particular human has ended safely, that human becomes predictable, and predictability feels safe. Even wild animals can learn this. Crows remember faces, foxes recognize neighborhoods, squirrels identify individual people. Some birds even change how close they allow different humans to approach. They're not thinking, humans are nice. They're thinking, this specific human has never caused trouble. That's a huge difference. Here's something fascinating. Sometimes, animals don't bring babies to humans. They bring babies near humans. There's an important difference. Imagine you're a stray cat. Where would predators rather hunt? A silent forest or a noisy neighborhood full of people? Most predators avoid humans whenever possible. So, by nesting nearby, a mother may actually be using us as accidental bodyguards. Without us even knowing, it's almost like borrowing the security guards at a shopping mall without asking permission. The guards aren't protecting you specifically, but everyone benefits from their presence. Humans may play exactly that role. We're not babysitting. We're simply making the area too risky for other predators. Ironically, animals sometimes survive because predators fear us even more than they do. So, why do animals bring their babies to humans? The answer isn't because they think we're another animal. It isn't because they want us to adopt them. And it isn't because they've suddenly forgotten that humans can be dangerous. The real answer is much quieter than that. They do it because somewhere along the way, they decided you were the safest option they had. Think about how incredible that is. A mother animal has one job: protect her babies. Every decision she makes, every place she chooses could mean the difference between life or death. And after everything evolution has taught her, after thousands of generations learning what to fear, sometimes she chooses to place her babies near a human. Not because she has no instincts, but because her instincts tell her, this is the safest place I know. That's an incredible amount of trust. Not blind trust, earned trust. And somehow, out of the entire world, you became part of that calculation. Of course, animals don't sit there making lists of pros and cons. Their brains work differently. Instead, every single day, they collect information. Who feeds me? Who chases me? Where did I survive last time? Which places stay quiet? Which places have fewer predators? Slowly, their brains begin recognizing patterns. If a certain human has always been calm, always predictable, never harmful, that memory becomes stronger with every encounter. Scientists call this learning from experience. In other words, trust isn't born overnight. It's built one peaceful interaction at a time. That's why stray cats often choose the same houses, why birds return to the same gardens, why some animals seem to recognize certain people after months or even years. They're not following emotions alone. They're following evidence. Evidence that says this human has been safe before. And for a mother, that's often enough. But here's something even stranger. Sometimes a mother doesn't choose a familiar face. She doesn't choose the person who feeds her, or the one who's fed her kittens before. Sometimes she chooses a complete stranger, someone she's never approached, never tested, never learned, no history, no routine, no evidence at all, and yet she still walks up, still places her baby at his feet, still waits. How? If trust is built through repetition, how does an animal trust someone it just met? This is where it gets interesting, because animals aren't only reading patterns. Some scientists believe they're also reading energy, tone of voice, body movement, how calm someone stands, how slow someone moves. Whether a hand reaches out fast or gently, predators tend to move with intention. Sharp, focused, direct, kind people, without even realizing it, move differently. Softer steps, lower voices, calmer energy, and animals notice. They've survived this long by reading exactly this kind of signal. Not words, not promises, just presence. Some researchers call it reading intent. Others call it emotional contagion. The idea that animals can sense human stress, human aggression, even human kindness, almost instantly. That's why a nervous dog can calm down around one person and panic around another, without either person saying a single word. That's why some animals let certain strangers get close while running from everyone else. They're not analyzing your past. They're reading your presence right now. And somehow, some people just feel safe, even to creatures who've never met them. Maybe that's why some humans are described as good with animals. Not because they've trained for it, but because animals sense something in them before a single word is spoken. Kindness isn't just a human idea. It might be something animals can feel. And if that's true, then every time an animal chooses you, a stranger with no history between you, it isn't random. It's a judgment, a silent one, but a real one. So maybe the real question was never, why do animals bring babies to humans? Maybe the real question is, what are they seeing in us that we don't even see in ourselves? Because somewhere out there, an animal is watching. quietly, constantly, deciding who's dangerous and who isn't, deciding who moves like a threat and who moves like safety. And every single day, without trophies, without applause, without anyone noticing, some humans are passing that test, being chosen, not because we asked to be, not because we tried to be, but because somewhere in how we walk, how we speak, how we simply exist around them, we prove something, that we were safe, that we were kind, that we were the exception. So next time you see an animal watching you a little too closely or approaching a little too calmly, remember this: you may already be part of a calculation you never knew was happening. And maybe, just maybe, the wild has been quietly judging humanity all along, one quiet act of trust at a time.